Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Reach out to me directly for pricing at tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Today, we're discussing a lovely FP Journe Chronometre à résonance, 40mm in platinum with rose gold dial. This is a discontinued model and a rare color combination. 40mm in diameter, it is 9.1 millimeters thick, 48.2 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip, with a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Now, this Resonance 2, as it's known by collectors, features the symmetrical 12-12 dials, but with the rose gold version of caliber of 1499. It was made like this between 2004 and 2008, and I can say that with confidence because this one features the French-made Eleanor case with the French maker's mark and French national hallmarks. So this watch would have been made between mid-2004 and 2008, at the end of which Journe phased out the Eleanor cases. The model, of course, was made up till 2009 when the symmetrical dials were discontinued for the scrolling 24-hour second dial of the Resonance 3. Now, the watch is easy to wear on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, and you can see that quite well. It's a thin watch at under 10 millimeters thick, so it easily slides underneath a dress cuff. It is a dress watch after all, and it wears well in that regard. You can see my wrist is 16 centimeters circumference. This watch is nowhere near the edge of my wrist, and you can see that overhead as well. Check out the cuff shot, low slung, handsome, graceful, flat, and elegant. Taking a quick look at the strap, you can see this is a more recent FP Journe factory strap, as it features gator on the bottom and gator on the top. A lovely sort of honey brown with a matte finish, a monotone stitch, and a folded edge. You can see the use of pull-tab spring bars that allow the strap to be removed from the case without any use of tools. And then we use curved spring bars here because Journe drills the lugs close to the case, and the curved spring bar allows the strap to move without any impediment. The advantage there is that the pivot centers of the strap are relatively narrow across the wrist. That makes this watch suitable for a smaller wrist. I think you could get away with a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters circumference with this watch. We have a platinum pin buckle right here to match a platinum case. A Journe, of course, featuring full polish on the case, a domed case back, a domed bezel, a little lip to each that defines the mid case with handsome, tapered, spare, integrated lugs. We have those double dimple knurled Journe crowns, one at 4 o'clock, one which winds and sets the watch up at 12 o'clock. It is a bullhead winder and setter. And the idea behind the crown down at 4 o'clock is that the resonance effect, which couples the two sides of this movement, takes about 7 to 10 minutes to gain full strength and gain purchase on the two sides of the watch. So the seconds hands aren't always going to be synchronized once resonance takes hold. So you have a flyback mechanism so you can reset and synchronize them. The dial is made of matte finished media blasted rose gold, and as you can see, there are two black polished steel bezels framing two stamped guilloche silver dials, which are symmetrical 12-12 and settable independently. The watch is a dual time, though that's not really the idea. That's just one of the side benefits. We have a power reserve indicator. The power reserve is 42 hours for both sides of the watch, and you can see a barrel bridge with two different barrels. We'll talk about that in a moment. But the power reserve indicator moves backwards, like on a marine chronometer. On a marine chronometer, you wind the watch exactly 24 hours apart every day at the same time each day. So you need to know how many hours since winding, not how many hours of runtime remaining. So when this power reserve is fully wound, it indicates 0. Now, the timepiece is designed to use the resonance phenomenon. Anti-Janvier made this work with pendulum clocks. Journe experimented for quite a time from the 80s through the 90s to get it to work with a balance-based Swiss lever wristwatch. He finally got it to work in 2000 with the original Chronometre à résonance, and in mid-2004, that watch became the Res 2 with the integration of 18-karat rose gold bridges and plates. So not only is the material different, but you can also see that the barrel bridge has changed quite a bit from the Res 1, where the ratchet wheels would have been visible. Now, the timepiece, as I mentioned, has a French-made Eleanor case. Eleanor provided Journe's cases from the early 80s through 2008, so you have those French hallmarks, the Eleanor maker's mark, and then you also have the Swiss hallmarks on the case. You have two barrels, two drivetrains, two escapements, two balances, no physical link between them, even though they share a base plate. That is it. So they operate independently, and the idea is that parasitic emanations, vibrations, emanating from the balances and the escapements will cause the two to synchronize to each other and then beat in opposition, so basically in opposite directions. So if by chance position or a bump or a concussion on the wrist causes one to slow down, the other one will, by an equal and opposite margin, speed it back up. So they're self-regulating, and there should be less than 5 seconds of drift in a well-tuned chronometre à résonance every 24 hours, and that's 5 seconds of difference between the two sides. They beat away at 21,600 vibrations per hour. This 36 joule movement is adjusted in 6 positions. So in addition to being free sprung, it's very precisely adjusted. Remember, the chronometer is only adjusted in 5 positions. This is adjusted in 6. And there's a little rack and pinion at center. You can see the golden screw and the black polished pinion structure, and then the rack, and that's used to adjust the distance between the two. Screw heads are black polished. We have linear Côte de Genève across the bridges. Then we have mirrored anglage on the edge of the bridges, which you can well see, plus engine turning on the base plate and satination on the wheels. All of this water resistant down to 30 meters. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.